In this video, you could possibly get an idea of a business that you could do depending on your age, your interests, and I just really hope that you're inspired to increase your stream of income. Hi beautiful people, hi, this is Claire again. How are you doing? I'm fine. It's not been too long. I've been posting consistently and that is finally giving me joy. It's been a very long 2 months, but here we are, and today I'm going to be talking about 15 business ideas I have had and how I've executed all of them. So I'm going to say a disclaimer, I am not a financial guide or mentor or coach. I am just sharing my experiences and you have no obligation to necessarily have 15 streams of income. I do not have 15 streams of income. I currently have 3 streams of income and that's that. For me, I'm more about finding one good stream and really putting all your energy, all your resources into that so that it can become much more beneficial for the other streams of income. So without further ado, I'm going to go right into the businesses that I have done in my life. I was about 13 years old when I did this. I started selling cards, birthday cards and stickers, Barbie stickers, Disney stickers, all sorts of stickers. I sold it while I was in school so people could like stick it up in their notepads, on their lockers, on their tables. It was just cute. It was what every girl sort of wanted at the time. So I found a need in school and I was like, gonna make some 50-50 naira from this. So number 2 is hairstyling. So also in boarding house, I studied in Nigeria for my secondary school and I was in boarding house and there were usually very long queues on Saturdays when we need to make our hair, and I personally did not like that. So I found someone who I knew could make hair. So she would make my hair, I would make her hair. We would both not have to spend 15 naira on any of the hairdressers there because hair making was not free. And so once we have gotten our own hairs done, we would then, do hair for other people and get paid a smaller fraction of the money, maybe like 40 naira. But most of the time I did collect 50 naira or sometimes even more, depending on how busy I was or if it really was an inconvenience. I would get paid for that inconvenience. And usually the queues were always very long, and if you don't do your hair, you're gonna get in trouble. So anyone who is coming to me is desperate, so you pay desperate money. So that was one business that I did, and currently I make my daughter's hair. So that is just a skill that I learned from braiding the carpets in my house growing up, braiding the dolls that I had. I also practiced a lot on my baby sister growing up. So yeah, hairstyling. Another thing that I did to make some money while I was in secondary school, some of you will call it high school, is written notes and typography. So there will be some times when someone would want to write a love note to someone, they would call me, I would write the love note with a very pretty handwriting and get paid for that. Sometimes if there were like an award show and they wanted to present certificates, I would write them. I did that mostly free, but sometimes I would collect a bargain for it. So that was a very childish business, but I would collect a bargain for doing something like writing a note for you. So yeah, reading notes and typography. I actually did that even a lot more in university. Then I also did arts and illustration as business. I would illustrate your biology drawings and I would get paid something in exchange or even cash. And from there, my first actual business in the real world outside of school was an illustration for hehe. I remember so well. I illustrated an eye with a diamond as the pupil and I got paid 5,000 naira for that illustration. I think that was the very first time that I got paid from a stranger on social media for doing a drawing. That was cool. And so I just continued illustrating. So I worked with fashion brands, I worked with some other artists, I did some collaborations, I created graphics on t-shirts, and that was really fun. So yeah, I did get some salary from doing arts and illustration. The next business that I did was fashion business. In university, I started selling skirts because my school, did we mostly wear trousers? Did we wear trousers at all? We wore skirts, and so I sold skirts to students, skirts and dresses when I had almost graduated from school. While I was also in school, I wouldn't say it's a business that I did, but I did work with a fashion business who was selling clothes, and so I was like an online merchandiser for this brand. So I was in school, but I was on social media reaching out to possible buyers. So I wouldn't necessarily say I was an influencer because I wasn't wearing the clothes, but I was posting the photos and making sure that people were interested, and I was making sure that their orders were also fulfilled. So that was a business, online merchandising, that I did. It wasn't business. Let's say it was a business. While I was also in school, I got my first big fashion illustration gig, and I worked with a company who was pitching to banks. So like, UBA Bank, First Bank, Zenith Bank, those type of banks, and they were trying to make like bank uniforms, and they reached out to me. So I created those illustrations, and it was really, 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 really lovely to have been singled out to create that kind of work. So that's that about secondary school and university. So once I got out of university, of course, I continued doing fashion illustration work. That's where my career really started. Like, that was one thing that I stayed consistent at. When I talk about consistency, I stayed consistent at that because that became a stream of income for me, because at that point I already started having needs. Like, I wanted to buy shoes and bags and clothes on Jumia. There was a time I was always shopping on Jumia. My dad would be like, another delivery, and I was financing my shopping habits through the businesses that I was doing online. So once I had graduated, I continued illustration, like I said, and I also was doing graphic design. So I was creating logos for people's brands. I was a logo girl. I didn't study graphic design, but of course I self-learned graphic design because of my degree, architecture. However, my dad really tried to put me like all these tech schools when we'll be on holidays, but they were always so boring. I remember he put me in web designing school, and I couldn't even like keep up. But anyway, I started doing graphic design for logos. I did some really amazing logos at the time, some of which some people are still using, and every time I look at their brand, I'm always like, oh my god, they're still using their logo after 10 years. It's like, it does me somehow. Like, I just get emotional because like it really means that I did really well with them. Anyway, so when I would do your logos, I would add like an added service, which would be to print your business cards. So I became the business card girl. Like, I'm telling you, your favorite influencers, stroke photographers, stroke makeup artists, like brands, ice cream, I did their business cards. Entrepreneurs, I did their business cards. Fashion businesses, I did their business cards. This year, there was that year that I was just making business cards. It was so much that I couldn't even keep up with the requests, and there's some people that I really wanted to work with that I ended up turning down, and yeah, that was really bad. Anyway, another business that I did was fashion design. So I would go into your business or fashion businesses, and they would say that they wanted to create a collection and didn't have any ideas, and so I would go there and create ideas for them, which also included illustration. So I would do research, trend research, and pretty much create the designs, and they would just go ahead and produce this work. So you would just see like some brands are just putting out clothes, but I'm the designer that has designed it for them. And I enjoy doing the behind the scenes, backstage type of work, because I know that the real work is really executing those designs. And so after a while, I realized that a lot of people didn't really understand fashion and the process of how they could create a collection without me, and even if they wanted to expand the scope, like create a print, etc. So I started doing fashion consultancy. So that's another business that I started doing, which is separate from me designing and illustrating. At some point, I would drop, like I was literally just dropping many other ideas. So the time I was fashion consulting, I had dropped graphic design, I had dropped making business cards. And this is what I say when I say like consistency. I wasn't really looking to building on one thing at this point in my life. So later on, I had now finished university, was, traveling, and I decided that I really wanted to start something serious. This is when I started the art workshop. I started teaching art and design. These are things that I've learned over the years, whether I've been self-taught or I've learned it somewhere. I started teaching it, and I've done that from 2015 till date. That's one thing that has stayed consistent in the past over 5 years. And when I started that, I also started career coaching and mentorships as well. Another business idea that I started doing at some point when I'd already grown my audience was content creation. I realized that a lot of people just liked the things that I would wear, how I I looked, and the things that I would say. And so I also was very intentional about being truthful and authentic and just letting them know that I have integrity. So yeah, I started doing content creation. So myself and my husband opened a YouTube channel as well, and we were influencing, you know, working with brands to push their products. And then I was selling my paintings as well. That's another business that I did. I started painting and selling frames. So I was making frames, some of which are in my house, quite a number. I was making frames of my work and selling illustrations. My Instagram handle for the page was limited objects. There were limited edition illustrations that I was selling. And then I have currently my YouTube channel, which is another stream of income, which isn't necessarily like a big deal yet, but I'm on my way, currently monetized. And I think what I'm prioritizing the most on my YouTube is giving you value, inspiring you, letting you know that you can do all things. And finally, currently, right now, one business that I'm doing is a fashion business. So I did a fashion business ages ago. It's coming back right now, and it's bigger, it's better. I know that my purpose and my life is tied into this. So a lot of the things that I've done in the past have just been ideas that I've just dropped that, oh, I can do it, so I'm gonna make some money from it. But now the things that I'm doing, they have more depths in them. So they are inspired by the Holy Spirit and their instructions. They have a place, an assignment. They are filling a gap and are being an instrument. I'm allowing the things that I'm using as businesses to be instruments in the world that I live in for my Father. So yeah, that is what business has transitioned into now. So business is not just, oh, I can do it, I'm gonna do it and make money from it. It is also just, you know, I'm seeing God's heart through my businesses. I'm ensuring that I'm also doing the one thing that we're meant to be doing, which is drawing men. It says He's made us fishers of men. And so with my business, I want to draw men to Christ. I want people to see God. I want them to experience God through my businesses. And so that's why I believe that He takes us through different seasons. And so if you're in a season now and you're just making money from your business, I was once there. It's nothing really bad in that. But you know, once you're growing and your heart just desires what God desires, He's going to show you what to do to, you know, make Him proud or to just be useful for Him. If you're enjoying this video at this point, please give it a thumbs up. It's going to help other people see this video, and subscribe if you have not subscribed already. I bet there are tons of you who are like me. We just start a lot of things. We start it, we leave it, we start it, we leave it. It's okay. That's your journey, and that's just, you know, but as you grow older, there is a desire to want to be consistent. There's one thing I keep telling myself, that as long as my Father keeps bringing the sun out in the morning and bringing the moon out in the night, and I stayed consistent at doing that every single day, that is proof that I have the gift and the ability to be consistent. Because He's my Father, I have His blood in my veins, I have the blood of Jesus in my veins, and so I am also consistent. So I know that right now I've gone through that season of inconsistency and maybe lack of purpose, but now I'm more aligned into purpose, and I know that He has given me grace to walk in, and has also given you grace to walk in purpose. So keep doing what you're doing, keep moving, keep the wheels running, and I'll see you in my next video. Love you. Bye.